made.
Without a doubt, one of the great moments in sports for me is talking to and with the young man that I'm about to interview. To many, and probably to most, he always will be the heavyweight champion of the world. Welcome to Dallas, Muhammad Ali.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad to be here. I like Texas, and I'm planning to come back more.
Muhammad, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you several questions, if you will. Are there any physical ill effects from your recent fight with Joe Frazier?
No, I had a swollen jaw, which went down in about 5 days. That was all. As a matter of fact, that's the only thing that I've ever had in physical damage in 286 fights and about 18 years of fighting.
I'd like for you to take as much time as you'd like to answer this question, but is there definitely, in your mind at least, a rematch scheduled?
Right, for sure. Joe Frazier's okayed it. My people have okayed it. The only thing now that's a threat to it is my Supreme Court case, which they're deciding on now. They are supposed to make some type ruling the 19th of this month. Otherwise, if I'm free and not in jail, the fight is on. If Frazier has no accidents on his motorcycle.
Well, then I guess pending the results of the Supreme Court case, then you couldn't elaborate as to when the rematch would be.
Well, we're working for between the 1st and the 15th of January, the 1st of next year.
Muhammad, as you visit college campuses throughout the country, do you find that you're greeted with kind of mixed emotions, or would you say that you're very encouraged by your acceptance on these?
100% in my favor. Never nothing mixed. Not even one boo, not one heckler. I've had a couple when the draft fight first started, and somebody in the audience jumped on them and beat them up, which I didn't agree with. But as far as it's surprising to say, I seem to be welcomed more just as much as so in black colleges. As a matter of fact, I'm on a college tour, and 90% of my arrangements are mainly because of financially able. I set up by the white colleges, and they meet me by the thousands and thousands. And I'm so tired of these college engagements that I'm going to have to stop for a few months.
You've heard it from the man himself. A great champion and a very beautiful man, Muhammad Ali.
I wrote a poem for your show.
Sure would love to hear it.
Show, and I like your style, but your pay is so cheap, I won't be back for a while.
Councilman Jess Johnston will present the newly sworn-in city officials with a plan he has backed ever since he took place two-seat on the council 2 years ago. The plan calls for the division of the city into 8 wards. The councilman representing each of the 8 areas would be elected from his representative geographical area. If you'll pardon my hasty artwork, you see that the wards are divided by these major arteries in the city: IH-35 West North-South Freeway, the Turnpike East Rosedale, Poly Freeway, Forest Park and McCart, the Clear Fork branch of the Trinity River, I-20 and Jacksboro Highway, and a portion of Belknap. The mayor would keep his at-large representation status, and Johnston says that he does not propose that this be a permanent plan, but only on a 6-month trial basis. Mayor Stovall has said that he would favor putting the proposal to the people in the form of a charter change. But he has also stated that half of the 8 council seats should remain at large, the other 4 elected by districts. 4 other councilmen favor putting the question before the people, and other councilmen oppose the plan entirely. Johnston believes that the area representation, would greatly benefit Nowtown citizens. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
I'm holding a handful of the 3200 block of Wake Street in West Dallas. It's just one of the many unpaved streets in West Dallas, and tomorrow the Dallas City Council is expected to approve a $21,000 contract to study paving on 17 streets in this area. This is the result of a 2.5-year effort by groups such as Los Barrios Unidos, and John Zapata Gonzalez is the coordinator for that group. John, let me ask you, if this action is taken as it is expected to be done tomorrow, what will Los Barrios Unidos be up to next in the West Dallas area?
Malcolm, we are going to keep pressing forward as we have in the past 2.5 years. And I am pretty sure, Malcolm, that the present City Council has worked very hard with us. They have cooperated, and they have taken the first step forward in getting things built out here constructively. And I'm pretty sure that the incoming City Council will do the same thing.
Do you need to do more?
The streets where the city is way short on, Malcolm, the incoming lights that are going to be installed will be sufficient for this particular area, but we're way, way behind on street paving out here.
Police place the value of stolen bicycles in Dallas alone at around $190,000. A bicycle dealer says the figure for replacement brings that closer to $400,000 a year. But the real value can only be weighed in the terms of the youngsters deprived of their most prized possessions. To most of these kids, this is perhaps their first brush with the ugly side of life. Meet a neighbor of mine who lost his bike and his brother's bike on the same night. What happened?
Well, they cut the chains off the bicycles and took them both. They couldn't run them off because one of them had a flat.
Let's take a look at those chains if we can.
This was on one bike and this one was on the other, and they cut both of them and took the bike.
Pretty heavy chains?
Yes, sir, they're log chains.
Does it happen at night or the daytime?
It was about 9:30 at night.
The bikes are being stole, have case-hardened chains and locks, and they're cut with chain cutters. Not just a bolt cutter, but they're being cut with chain cutters. And some of them are even being picked up, if they're not locked to a pole, they're being picked up and taken with the lock on the bicycle. So they have to be either in a truck or a car to carry them off.
Detective Richardson, have you heard rumors that these bicycles are perhaps being reconditioned and sold in neighboring communities, or even stripped with the parts being sold to bicycle dealers?
I have heard those rumors, yes, sir, and have had liaison with the neighboring communities, and thus far have had no results from it at all. There may be some grounds for the rumors, but we have been unable to uncover them through our contacts with the other police departments.
What is it to kids? Remember the 2 bikes chained to a metal table and 1 bike with a flat? Certainly no kid rode the bike with a flat out of my neighborhood at 9:30 at night without being heard. And what kid is going to carry chain cutters when he's out on a lark? Now, Dallas police can account for about half of the bicycles reported stolen, but many thefts are never reported. How many is open to speculation. Is someone trafficking in stolen bicycles, and are they taken out of town for resale? That, too, is open to speculation until someone comes forward who has the answers to that question. In the meantime, at least 10 youngsters a day in Dallas alone are going to have their first brush with disillusionment and heartbreak. Tomorrow, we'll look at ways that we might stop some of these bicycle thefts.
Last Friday, 315 students left their 12th grade Eustis Public School for Easter vacation, but they won't be returning here after the holidays. Last night, the WPA-built rock schoolhouse burned to the ground, cause unknown. I talked to Eustis School Superintendent Nolan Stretcher about the value of the loss. Mr. Stretcher, do you know the reason for the fire?
No, I have no idea.
Was it a total loss?
Almost total loss.
Do you know the value of this?
No, I don't.
What's going to happen to the 315 children that went to school here?
Well, we intend to go to school. It may be in churches or it may be in some of the school buildings that are not being used at this time.
I understand you have a volunteer fire department. Were they able to get it out without spreading?
No, they wasn't able to get it out because it was too far gone when they got the information.
For Channel 8 News on the Move, this is Judy Hanna.
I believe the severe beating that he received before the fall came on this incident.
What kind of markings did he have on him from the beating?
Well, he had some large gashes in his head and all over his face and also around his neck also. This received from the beating.
Has he been identified as yet?
No, sir, he has not been identified.
Did he have any markings that may help someone in our audience identify him?
The only physical markings we have so far is a tattoo on his upper left arm. It is a tattoo of a wine, women, and song, and it has a tattoo of a woman sitting in a martini glass, and this is the only thing that we have so far.
Did you talk to your shop teacher or anyone about the kind of tool that would have to be used to cut that chain?
No, I didn't. My mother talked to the man up at the Schwinn shop, and he said that it was a special kind of chain, and they were pretty hard to cut, and it needs some kind of
Places like the Dallas wastewater treatment plant behind me will be the most affected by the fourth proposed constitutional amendment. You see, Dallas, as well as other Texas cities, are generally pretty far behind on federal standards for wastewater pollution control. And they'll be even farther behind when the standards are upgraded in just a few years. The Water Department figures Dallas will have to spend about $54 million in the next few years to upgrade its wastewater treatment. Constitutional Amendment number 4 would help Dallas in that problem. Henry Frazier, Dallas Water Superintendent, explained part of that on Channel 8 News at noon.
Veterans of other wars, or the other wars being fought, there seem to be the reasons we were fighting these wars, the reasons these veterans of the other wars went to fight, seem to be the very reasons, the evils they were fighting, seem to be the very evils that we're perpetrating now in Vietnam on the Vietnamese people. And I think the whole myth that America can do no wrong, that America is a humane country and fights the war for humane reasons, is finally being destroyed.
Jesse, you've drawn the starting nod tomorrow night in Amarillo. This is your first shot at Double-A ball. Do you go through the usual butterflies one might expect with a pitcher on opening day?
Yeah, I'll be very nervous and everything.
Have you begun to get nervous already just thinking about it?
Yeah, that's right. And it's my first year here, and I, know how it really going to be.
Give us an idea, if you will, of your background. How long have you been in professional baseball now?
I've been playing for 3 years, and this will be my 4th year.
And this is the first time you've been as high as Double-A, right?
Right, this is my first year.
I understand that last year at Stockton you had an 8-13 record and were a bit bothered by control problems. Has that been something that you've been working on during the off season?
Yes, I've been to winter ball this year, and it's really helped me getting my throwing strikes more consistently, man. I think I'll be all right this year.
Where did you play in winter ball?
Clearwater, Florida.
What kind of a record did you post down there?
Well, we didn't really...
Just actually working out the whole time?
Right.
Did the Orioles assign any specific person to work with you on the control?
Yeah, Herm Surratt, our pitching coach here, who working with me. He works with me a lot. And George Bamberger, the one in Baltimore.
I understand, though, despite the control problems which you hope to overcome, you've got pretty good zing on your fastball.
Yes, I do. It's really good.
Is that the one you rely on in the clutch?
Yeah, that's my main pitch.
Can accept that fact. In the past, the history of Vietnam and the reasons we went into it have been so obscured with various rationalizations that no one any longer knows why we are there. But to show the fact that the American people, if they're going to pay their money for this war, if they're going to support this war, then it's time they found out what the war was all about, how it's being run, how it's being fought.
The action started in the council today when Councilman George Allen proposed legislation in Austin that would authorize the city of Dallas to tax Dallas County residents who work in the city but live outside the city. Allen claims that the people are using the City of Dallas utilities without paying any money for them. But several councilmen objected because they said it was thrown on them too soon. They didn't have time to read through the legislation and didn't really know whether they'd approve it or not. Wes Wise was one of the council members who objected. Several others jumped in, and finally the resolution was defeated by a 7-4 vote. Councilman Allen and Councilman Jesse Price then left the room and conferred briefly and returned just in time to slide an amendment into Mayor Pro Tem Jack McKinney's ambulance tax. McKinney is the author of the proposal that would allow a $1 tax on each car in Dallas County, that money to go for a countywide ambulance service. Well, that's been thrashed around among the Dallas County League of Municipalities until it's been amended to say that the money doesn't necessarily have to go to the county, it can go to the individual cities. The Price amendment would allow trucks also to contribute their dollar, and the trucking industry is known to be against it. Finally, it appears that the resolution will go to Austin for action by the House and the Senate, where it's now pending. Councilmen also agreed that the area of La Bajada in West Dallas should get some more public utilities. Residents of the area, a triangular tract somewhat north of Singleton and east of Sylvan Avenue, have said that their utilities are far below the rest of Dallas. It's been a part of the City of Dallas since 1951, but residents say they have inadequate street lighting, streets, and other measures. Well, a bookmobile has been circulating in La Bajada since last week, and today councilmen agreed to authorize $21,000 for a paving which will pave 17 blocks of La Bajada. Mayor Eric Johnson also took the opportunity today to name his 3 appointments to the Dallas Housing Authority. They include Dr. Milton Curry of Bishop College, who had served on the authority before and will fill his old position, Dallas attorney Mrs. Dale Milford, and Dr. Tom Shipp, a minister. The mayor has steadfastly refused to name a tenant to that authority, which has been a disappointment to the Dallas Tenants Union. Councilmen also agreed to ask the federal government for some money to begin design and engineering work on Phase 2 of the Dallas Water Treatment Plant. A project costing more than $1 million will bring Dallas more in line with federal and state water pollution control laws. This is Phil Reynolds, Channel 8 News at the Dallas City Hall.
Last year, 3,821 bicycles were stolen in Dallas. Over half were recovered. Police would like to cut down on the number of thefts and increase their recovery record. Only you can help. I spoke to Detective Richardson about this problem.
I would say when they get a bicycle, the first thing they should do would be to make a record of the frame number, and thereafter do not leave it out in the yard or on the front porch. Lock it up at night, or whenever they're going to leave it out, lock it up.
Well, many of these bicycle thieves come through with chain cutters. How would you lock it up?
The only solution to that is put it in the garage.
Mike, you had a bicycle that was stolen. Where was it taken from?
Well, it was taken out of my garage.
You've got a brand new bicycle now.
Yes, sir.
What'd you pay for it?
$95.
How are you going to keep this one from being stolen?
Well, I've been rolling it in front of the fireplace in our living room every night.
So you take it inside the house every night?
Yes, sir.
Is this the only way you can think of to keep it from being stolen?
Well, yes, sir. Well, they've been stealing a lot of bikes around here, so I figured that would solve it.
Of course, the real solution lies with each of us, but we can help the police to protect our property by recording the serial numbers on our bicycles and by locking our bicycles at night and pulling that garage door down and keeping it locked. And if you see a suspicious stranger in your neighborhood, especially at night, you might report him to the police. And then, perhaps once again, bicycling will be fun for all of us.
Do you try and keep a full year-round season of physical conditioning for yourself?
Yeah, I do, but I like to have a break. You know, you got to have a break. It gives you that rest from soccer, you know. But not too long a break. You've got to keep going all the year round, because once you lose your fitness, it's kind of hard getting it back again.
What do you do for entertainment or enjoyment outside of soccer? When you speak of a break, what kind of things do you like to do?
Well, I like things, all sports, you know. I like game of tennis, which I'm not very good at. I like swimming, but soccer's, you know, mainly my sport. think it's great.
You know, Kenny, we in the States are so used to hockey, and I think there's a natural tendency for us to equate a hockey goalie with a soccer goalie. In conversations with various goalies in a game of ice hockey, they say the reason they're there is because they couldn't skate that well. How does one become a soccer goalie?
Well, that's the reason I'm there. I'm not very good at playing out, and it was a last resort for me. But I enjoyed it. You know, I enjoy goalkeeping.
Was it a decision that you made early in your soccer career?
Well, I didn't start playing soccer when I was 13, 14, which is pretty late, you know. But I'm glad I took the decision. It's a great game, you know. But these youngsters over here, they're only young, you know. They've got all the world before them to be good soccer players. But I was very late, as I say, 13 and 14. But once you get into the swing of it, you pick it up and you're okay.
Well, Ken, this will be your second year in Dallas, and it's good to have you back again.
Great. Thank you, man.